Welcome to the Why Not podcast with me, Chrissy Hawkins. In a world where everybody asks you why, I'm here to ask why not. So sit back and relax or walk and listen and join me on this journey as we try to answer this never-ending question: what makes people say, why not? Hey guys, welcome back to Why Not. Today's episode is how to look good in your bikini. And it is that short, it is that simple, so enjoy the episode. Well, hello guys, welcome back to Why Not. So, this is kind of a quick fire episode. We're going to see how it goes. But I wanted to call it... I've forgotten. No, I wanted to call it how to become bikini ready. Okay, so the short part of how to become bikini ready, because it's June. How is it June already? I don't know. Can someone tell me how we are 6 months into the year and we haven't been in lockdown for half it? So I have no idea how this has happened. Time is just getting quicker and quicker. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but we are at June. We are like, if you don't have kids, you could be already going on holidays. If you do have kids, you're probably going on holidays in the next few months. And, since we're allowed out, we want to get away from Ireland and into the sun, which means bikinis or swimsuits or whatever you want, which comes with summer transformations, 6-week, 8-week crash diets that people are going to do in order to be bikini ready. And the only thing it does is makes you kind of miserable. But anyway, how you become bikini ready? Step 1, put bikini on. Step 2, you're ready. And episode's over. I joke. But it could be that simple. But unfortunately, thanks to our lovely friend the media and stuff like that, it is not that simple. And it's quite amusing in a sense. Not amusing, it's annoying because, theoretically, skinny is no longer what we're supposed to be. But you should have a Kim K body. So that's really curvy. But you have to have that without cellulite. And that's kind of impossible because to have a curvy bum, obviously with a curvy bum you can have muscle in it, but to have curvy boobs and stuff like that, you kind of need to have body fat. And to get those shapes, you can't get that with no body fat. And with body fat tends to come cellulite, especially if you're a woman. It's the way our genes are made. We have the way our cells are lined up, like the crossing. It's a crossing sense. I'm not explaining this well, but anyway, basically fat cells sit in between us, which is what kind of causes cellulite. And the only real way to get rid of cellulite is by being super lean, maybe not healthily lean. And unless you are like that, you are probably going to have some form of cellulite. Like I have cellulite, and I would consider myself relatively lean. So this is our first problem. So the body standard does not lend to having no cellulite, because if you want to be curvy, you need fat, and if you have fat, you tend to have some form of cellulite. Any of these fat sculpting types of things that tell you, put this cream on and your cellulite goes away, or go to this machine that's going to vibrate you and your cellulite will go away, or do this other mad thing that's going to make your cellulite go away. It's all a lie, and it's just going to put you out of money as opposed to actually doing anything. But unless it's like liposuction, where they're literally sucking it out for you, that will probably potentially actually get rid of it, because it's literally sucking the fat out of your body. But anything that tells you it's going to bind to fat or it's going to make fat melt away, any of these things are in fact a scam. I've talked about scams before in the fitness industry. They are in the beauty industry as well. I saw something recently which was like a face slimming massage, and they were charging something like you had to go every week, and you had to go every week, so it was 100 quid or more than that. Now this is in America, but the only way I can think is that maybe potentially face slimming is they're going to move like basically promote lymphatic drainage in the face, which makes the appearance of it being slimmer. But of course, with the fluid comes back, and you're going to have to keep redoing it every week because it's not actually doing anything for your face. It's just moving the fluid, and the fluid will come back because that's how our lymphatic system works. So if you see anything like that tells you it's going to be fat sculpting, so basically if you see any like fat treatments like that, or beauty kind of fat treatments, it's all a lie, and it's just going to, the only thing to be slimmer will be your wallet because you've wasted money. And like that goes for a lot of things that people kind of try to sell around now. Like, there is the fat binding tablets that don't really do a huge amount of things. And then the other issue we have is we have people selling these hardcore summer shred programs, and some of them are like, I'm not saying they don't work. If you stick to it, they probably will. But the only issue is you're going to lose a lot of weight very quickly, and you're likely to rebound and end up putting it and possibly more back on, because by the time you get to your holiday, you're starving and all you want to do is eat everything around you, if you make it that far. And then you just like repeat the cycle every time. Whereas if we started to like look at it a bit differently, in the tips I'm going to try and give you, and try not to like do this like, a few weeks before a holiday every year. Like, straight up, if you've given yourself less than a month to be quote unquote bikini ready, whatever way you consider that to be, if you're giving yourself less than that, you really have left it too late, and you're not going to get the results you want, and you're probably going to be mad about it, and maybe you might turn to food to comfort yourself after, say, I'm not saying failing, but in your eyes maybe failing. And so if you are kind of trying to do something like this, maybe try and take it from a longer way out, as opposed to 2 weeks from beforehand, I'm just going to eat air and do cardio, and that'll fix everything, and I will be sorted. And then you haven't gotten the result you expected, because that's not how life works, and you're mad when you go on holiday. So you eat everything around you, and that continues on for quite a long time after. So these are the dangers of trying to do these extremes really quickly. And if you are someone who does that regularly, like goes like on this really extreme diet and an extreme exercise program, and then just come back, and then bounce back to where you were, and then do it again, maybe you need to look at different reasons why you're doing this. But here are my tips for becoming bikini ready. And as I said, it can be as simple as just put a bikini on. But if you wanted to, say, drop a bit of body fat, feel a little bit leaner, and just maybe for you, it'll make you feel a bit better in a bikini, that's absolutely okay. So this is what I would advise. And I want to start with eat more. This is going to sound crazy, because everyone who wants to go on a fat loss journey thinks they need to eat less. But a lot of the time we're already under eating, and particularly under eating protein. So we know protein is, meats, fish, chicken, dairy products have a lot of protein. You can get protein powders. You can get vegan sources of protein, which are kind of peas, beans, lentils. It's a little bit more complicated to get your protein in. Tofu as well. And soy products, it's harder to get that in, obviously, if you're vegan or vegetarian. But obviously, as animal protein is mostly complete, but you will get that in like soy and stuff. But if you up your protein intake, you are able then to like feel fuller for longer. I talk about this all the time, and I'm not taking like talking about 2 slices of ham in your lunch. You need more than that. You need like a good serving of protein, help you feel fuller for longer. Then your carbs can get utilized better, and if you were training, it will help you repair your muscles quicker. Thus, meaning if you do that, you will build a bit of muscle. And I talk about this on not a lot, but when you build more muscle, you look leaner. So you may weigh more, but you will look leaner. And that's kind of what we want to do. We kind of have the tendency to go straight for the cardio because if you sweat, sweat is fat crying, but it's not. It's just your body's reaction to being hot. If you are hot, you sweat. But people mistake that for meaning they're doing a good workout. And they think that, if you're out of breath and you've done an hour's cardio, you are going to make much bigger differences than if you were doing weights where you didn't sweat. And that is not the case. So maybe step back from the cardio, try and do a little bit more strength training. This is my next point after, and try and up our protein. Up our protein and eat more, because what happens is when we chronically undereat, normally you find you might be good from Monday to Friday, and the weekend comes around and you have to eat everything around you because you are starving, because you've been undereating all week. And then you can run into a scenario where you have actually overeaten more calories than you have actually cut during the week. So if we move from that situation where we are no longer having low weight, so we eat more through the week, we're more satiated, we feel more full. By the end of the week, we now don't need to binge so much, we don't end up going over our food and then or over our calories or eating excessive amount of calories. Then over time we find that we actually start to drop weight because we're eating what we need and no longer trying to replace that when we're ravenous at the end of the week. I hope that made sense. And now moving on to our strength training, because I kind of side noted onto that. When we strength train, when we build muscle or get toned, I'm doing that in air quotes because girls always say they want to get toned, but they don't want to get muscular or bulky. But it's really, really hard for women to get bulky. We are just not genetically built like that. So it's not going to happen. But when we strength train, we basically our muscles have to repair after strength training. So this doesn't have to be like lifting really heavy weights, but you could be doing this with body weight exercises. So theoretically, your metabolism is raised for up to 48 hours after. So like that stiffness you feel in your muscles after is your muscles repairing. And also you don't always have to be stiff after a training session. Just because you're not stiff doesn't mean it wasn't a good training session. It just means your muscles have adapted, and we want that to happen when we're training. But if you do that, as I said, your metabolism is a little bit higher. If you are cardio training, a lot of the time it's up to an hour after that you did the cardio that it'll go back down. Because there is less muscle damage a lot of the time with cardio, which is not a bad thing. We don't want insane muscle damage, but you will get more kind of post-workout in a sense benefits because your body is using the calories. Then if you were fueling yourself properly, it's using them now to rebuild the muscle. And as I said, while you may end up being heavier, you're actually going to look leaner, which is kind of an interesting, I suppose, it kind of goes against what we're taught all the time. And it's why I was talking before about how weight isn't the be all and end all. And I've been trying to like push that a bit recently because you can weigh more but look leaner as you have more muscle than you have body fat, which is interesting. But obviously it's very hard because we're taught that's bad. The third one is drink water. Like people don't drink enough water, and it doesn't have to just be plain water. If you want, put a bit of dilute in it just to flavor it. But drink water because, as I said in the previous podcast as well, if you are dehydrated, you hold on to water, which can make you look bloated. It can make you look bigger. And if you are drinking more water every day, you're going to look leaner. You're going to feel better, and it'll help you, especially if you're doing like a lot of exercise at the moment. It'll help with recovery and flushing out like toxins and stuff from the body. It's really, really simple, and not enough people do it. And just drink some water. I swear to God, it'll make such a difference. And especially if you're on holidays, okay? Because this is another thing. When we go on holidays, we don't drink enough water as it is. But then we go on holidays and we drink even less water. And when you drink even less water, you again become more bloated, especially if you're drinking a lot, because holidays. So if you're drinking and not like, with drinking makes you dehydrated. If you're in a sunny place, you're going to be dehydrated. So if you're not drinking water, you're going to kind of get bloated, probably feel a bit iffy and stodgy. And the best way to fix this is really simple, and it's just drinking water. As I said, it can absolutely have dilute in it, especially I find when I'm hungover that drinking drinking water is harder because it tastes too plain. So if you want to spice it up something a bit sugary, absolutely go for it. No problem with that. But just make sure, because again, when we're away, like our diet changes, we end up with more salty stuff. I don't know about you guys, but I don't go, oh, do you know what I want today? I want a salad. I probably burgers and chips half the time in there. And again, we want to counteract that by drinking as much water as possible. And if you're in a hot country, the water is going to become very important because we're sweating more. And unfortunately, just like when I said when you're training, that is not the fat crying, that is just our physiological response to being hotter, and that's how we cool down. And I suppose staying active while you're away is great as well. Like, obviously, everyone loves sitting by the pool and tanning. Well, I don't know if everyone does. Some people like going out and about and doing stuff. I like sitting by the pool and tanning. But having a walk here or there, like I'm not talking about going to gym. Like I do not go to the gym when I'm on holidays. I've had people ask me before, and I'm like, no, not a hope. Whereas I know people who would go, like, and I'm like, oh, working there all the time. Why? Why would you want to be back there? Um, but if you do like going for gym sessions, great. If you want to go swimming in the pool for a few laps, great. If you just want to go walking, do it in the morning, do it in the evening when it's not too hot. But just a little bit of movement will just help you feel a little bit better, especially if you're like been drinking a bit and you feel a bit sluggish. It just always feels great to have a little stroll about, and it just helps freshen the head, freshen, you know, your body. But it makes you feel better, or I find it makes you feel better. And yeah, like they're kind of the main ones. My third one, or my fourth one, which is gonna be like a little bit different, but get a really cute bikini. Like, there's so many nice designs out there. Now, personally, I tend to get the strapless ones because I don't want the handlines, but like, find a really cute bikini. Or if you want one piece, a really cute one piece, and wear it and be sassy wearing it and know you own it. And that is a really great way to look good in your bikini, because being confident is probably the biggest thing we're missing. Like, you may have bought something and you don't feel great about your body because you've been told you're not supposed to feel great about your body. So instead of like walking around and owning it, you kind of crouch and hide and you feel uncomfortable. And one of the sexiest things you can do is just be super confident and just be like, hey, here I am. It's my bikini class. Look at me. Yes, I know I rock this bikini. And just that alone can make a huge difference to how you feel. Before you go out, just look yourself in the mirror and going, yep, that's me. Um, I know that probably sounds a little bit off the wall and a little bit weird, but I think it's one of the best things that we don't do is just tell ourselves how great we look and how we are queens. I never use that word, but I think it's an underutilized way to make yourself feel good about yourself. And if you don't think it works, you're not committing to it. You need to go out and you need to walk with confidence. You need to head held high, shoulders back, and just be like, yep, there I am in my swimsuit. I bet you wish you looked as good as me. And yeah, I'm telling you, every morning, say yourself, look how good you look. So I suppose it's a kind of short one today, but it kind of small tips, I suppose, in how just to, like, as I said, just feel a bit better, look a bit better, or feel like you look a bit better. And try, and if you know you have a holiday at the end of the summer, if you want to take these things on board, try start doing it now. If you have a holiday in a couple of weeks, employ the confidence and the water trick. You know, they will do wonders for you. You won't even realize how much of a difference they can make. And just don't give a shit what people think. You look class and everyone is jealous of you. And anyone who, because they won't, but anyone who's going to make a comment about how you look is just projecting. Remember that. They're not saying that because they actually think they look better than you. They're saying that because they feel shit about themselves and they're jealous that you have the confidence to portray yourself like this, and that makes them angry because they can't do that for themselves. And I think if you remember that, it makes it a lot easier. So if you think you see someone making a face, they're probably not paying attention to you, but if they are, it just means that they are jealous of you, because no one who genuinely feels good about themselves ever feels the need to put other people down just for existing. So if they feel the need to do that, they clearly don't feel good about themselves. And I think that's a really good thing to remember. Anyone that is giving out is literally just projecting, and you are owning it and you are killing it, and keep it up. And I hope anyone who's worried on going on holidays feels a bit better now. Anyone who is going to go on holidays has a plan now, and you know, have a great holiday, wear whatever you want. I was going to say, obviously, try and wear clothes, but if you're going to a nudist commune, you can do that either. And yeah, just be happy, enjoy it. And I hope you guys have a great summer, and don't let the media or the Instagram models or the magazines or whatever dictate how you should look and how you should feel and what you're supposed to wear for your size. You do you. Feel as good as you want. Feel as good. What do you mean feel as good as you want? Do feel good. Don't you want to feel good? Please don't tell me you don't want to feel good. But do feel good. Enjoy it. Have a great summer, and I hope you found this helpful. If you do want to follow me, you can find me on Instagram. It is Chrissy H Fitness. I'm also on TikTok, Chrissy H Fitness. I also have my equestrian side of training for people who are horse riders looking to build fitness, rider rehab, or just feel a little bit more stable when they're riding. That is Strong in the Saddle _ on Instagram, and Strong in the Saddle on TikTok without the underscore. And my website where you can find all the details about working with me is www.chrissyhawkins.com. Hope you enjoyed. I really do appreciate everybody who listens to this podcast. So if you please could help me with the algorithm and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And even, if you want to reach out and suggest topics for me, I'd be delighted to hear from you. Drop me a DM on Instagram or TikTok. And thanks again for listening.